calling to order the 26th regular meeting of the Lake County Board of Commissioners. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear God, please bless our meeting today. May our discussions be fruitful, our decisions wise, and our community strong. Amen. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. Our technology is not working today. We have no microphones. We have no live feed to YouTube. But we do have the use of our PowerPoint, so at least you'll be able to see the legislation as it's presented. We will have recording devices so that the minutes can be properly prepared. So we will still have an official record of the meeting, but we do not have video or live stream today. So just be aware, speak up when we have a discussion so that we can capture on the recording and everyone can hear one another. With that, Madam Clerk, roll call please.
Commissioner Regovich?
Here.
Commissioner Hamercheck?
Here.
Commissioner Plechnik?
Present. And next, we have public comment. Would any member of the public like to address the Board of Commissioners? If so, please approach the podium, state your name and address, after which you have 3 minutes.
Chris Bahari, 185 West Jackson. So even though we have all this electronic difficulty, I pray I want to have a short minute of silent prayer tonight as the hurricane will pass over us, and that there's no more rain and no more also loss of power. People in Houston, millions of people in Houston, it's over 100 degrees and they have no power. So let's pray for our brothers and sisters around America. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for public portion?
I have never been to one of these meetings, so this is in regards to the flooding in Lake Erie Shores. We know the sanitary sewer is owned by the county.
Sir, can you state your name and address for them?
I'm sorry, my name's Scott Knapp, 815 Outrigger Cove. The county is also where we pay our taxes to live in this wonderful community. We know there's a plan in place to deal with the sewer backup in LES. We know you're working on it. But we cannot wait until next year. You need to do what you can do to exercise whatever emergency powers you have to expedite this process. This has happened in 06, 13, now 2 times within the last 12 months. We spent over $50,000 in cash repairing our property. With the latest flood, we have decided not to repair our basement fully until we are assured the flooding has been taken care of. We've been dropped by 2 insurance companies over the 19 years. Our insurance bills went up well over $700, and we know it's going up again with the latest claim. It's not getting any better. Quite frankly, I don't have much faith with the plan I'm hearing about tying into the larger pipe going under the railroad tracks. It's still a gravity system. And when it backs up, it goes to the path of least resistance, which is directly into our basements. I stress emergency powers because under normal business, you have to play a game that includes a formal bidding process, which can delay things moving forward. I understand the railroad has to buy off with the permission to let us tie into a larger pipe. If there is any way to pressure the railroad by leaning on other governmental bodies to push the railroad, if this gets to be a snag holding up the process or progress. This is unacceptable and unsustainable, and we cannot financially afford to keep living this way.
Thank you. Anyone else for public portion?
John Music 45 Covington Drive, Painesville Township. I just wanted to give a couple things out here. Just recently, in the last week or so, I've been working with some seniors and they needed help. And I went to Fairport Senior Center and I met with the person that needed the help and I helped them get a walker. And I bring it to their car because they couldn't walk and so forth. But Chris and Denise over there were very, very helpful, and I want to thank them for their work. And also, I called the Council on Aging also, Joey Thomas, second his people, and I called them and asked them, I can't make any decisions because I'm only speaking for somebody else. So, bottom line is I got all the options, and then Council on Aging called me back, and which was very good of them, and I told them, I said, well, it's going to be up to them what they do. So I just wanted to say that. Council on Aging and the Fairport Senior Center. And I'm sure all the other senior centers here in Lake County do a good job, but I'm only familiar with Fairport, truthfully. So just wanted to give them the thanks. And lastly, on United Way of Lake County on their website, and it was all over on various, it was in the Tribune and also on 19 News, where it said, let's read one sentence. It said 1/3 of Lake County residents struggle to stay afloat and afford basic needs. And that came from United Way. So this is what the people are going through. It isn't just the county government, the state government, but in my opinion, it's mostly at the federal government level which is causing the most problem. But everybody has a part, and then from the county we go to our communities, schools, and sales, and all these other taxes out there. So all I am saying is, be good stewards, and I said this for years, sir. Like I said, I've been coming since 2000. And so all I'm asking is be good stewards of taxpayer dollars, because a lot of people out there can't afford anything anymore. So, and I'm going to, next week I'll say that at my township meeting again, so next Tuesday I got a meeting there. So, and I've said it there before also, and I've said it at the state level and in DC, I've said it. So all I'm asking is be good stewards, because people are hurting right now. Thank you.
Anyone else for public portion?
Chris Weiss, Leroy Township. When we're children, we have a need for a lot of affirmation, adulation, recognition. And when my kids were little and they got an A in school or a gold star in the paper, they'd bring it to me, Daddy, I got an A. And I would congratulate them, I'd give them a hug, pat them on the head, give them a cookie, and I'd put their paperwork into a box and store it for them, okay? As we grow up, most of us outgrow those kinds of needs. We get a college diploma, maybe we hang it on the wall. We get a certificate, we give it to HR to put in our job file. But not you, Boss Blechnick. You go to take a class after already having 3 college degrees. You get an A, and what do? You file press releases. You get newspaper articles printed about you. You want the entire world to know what you've done, and you quote your colleagues as to what they have to say about it. I'm looking at this press release from July 14th, 2022. You attribute 2 paragraphs to what your colleagues said. I went back and watched the 2022 July 14th and July 13th commissioners meetings. They never said anything that's in this document. But yet, it was important for you to have the world know about that. So at this point in time, I'm going to once again renew my request that you release all of the work product that you submitted for grade when you took Public Administration 700 at Liberty University on ethics, statesmanship, and government. I think there's a public interest in what you submitted, especially in light of the fact that you made such a big splash about it and you wanted the entire world to know what you did. So much so that the work product you submitted became the subject of a court case filed in the Court of Common Pleas Probate Division, case number CV 1174. And what's interesting here is it's a 34-page complaint that seems to be an orphan. There's no attorney at bar that put forth a notice of appearance in this case. In fact, it was filed by 5 residents of the city of Willoughby Hills. Ted Dellis, Nancy Fellows, Barbara Lynn Blasey, Linda Fulton, and Dale Fellows. And it's filed against 11 members of the the Willoughby Hills City Council. And you're alleging 7 very serious complaints against them. They're alleging, the case alleges bribery, soliciting or receiving improper compensation, dereliction of duty, intimidation of a public official, engaging in a pattern of corrupt activity, use of public resources for personal gain, and retaliation against a public official. And this was filed September 7th, 2022, right after you took the course. Okay? In the course of this case, public records requests were made for your work product, which apparently existed on your county computer to the extent that it's widely believed that you're the author of this
Thank you,
case,
Mr.
which,
Weiss.
if true, would
Thank you.
constitute the unauthorized practice of law.
Thank you,
because
Mr.
you are
Weiss.
not licensed in Ohio to practice law.
Thank you so much.
You need something?
I think you're done.
We'll continue next week.
Good morning, Brian Kulkowski, Leroy Township. I'm a corporate attorney. Freedom of speech is so important that we need to carefully defend the rights of every person to make statements, even when these statements are false and make no sense. Noam Chomsky stated, if you believe in free speech, you believe in freedom of speech for views you don't like. Nazi propagandist Paul Goebbels was in favor of freedom of speech for views he liked. So was Soviet dictator Joseph Stalin. If you're in favor of freedom of speech, that means you're in favor of freedom of speech for precisely the views you despise. Winston Churchill was quoted as saying, everyone's in favor of free speech. Hardly a day passes without it being extolled. But some people's idea of it is that they are free to say what they like, but if anyone says something back, that's an outrage. Unfortunately, for months, the public, through these meetings, have heard propaganda masquerading as fact against Commissioner Plechnik. For instance, Mr. Weiss refers to Commissioner Plechnik in a condescending manner as Boss Plechnik, attempting to invoke thoughts of old-time political bosses in the public's mind. In addition, Mr. Weiss has implied that by attempting to support the county dog shelter by giving his time for a commercial, that Commissioner Plechnik was somehow trying to fraudulently obtain a free public political ad. It is my understanding Commissioner Plechnik was asked to be in this ad. It is my understanding that Commissioner Plechnik, like previous commissioners who appeared in these sorts of ads, was willing to do so to bring attention to the important cause of humane treatment of animals and the license fees that support these protections. Commissioner Plechnik understands, as Justice Kennedy stated, the First Amendment is often inconvenient, but that is the point. Inconvenience does not absolve the government of its obligation to tolerate speech. I agree wholeheartedly, which is why I will continue, when able, to come in to set the record straight. Commissioner Plechnik, thank you for tolerating this nonsense in a dignified manner and for continuing to work tirelessly for the public of Lake County.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good morning, Beverly Schlero, 11772 Girdle Road.
Ms. Scalero, just so you know, there is no microphone.
I have to talk louder? Okay, well, I can do that, all right? Concord Township. I've come here today to highlight the true character of Mr. Christian Weiss. For several weeks, he comes to these meetings and tries to insinuate that Commissioner Plechnik is not good for Lake County. It's my understanding that Mr. Weiss is attempting to fill a vacancy on the Riverside School Board. This prompted me to share with the public some facts about Mr. Weiss's character and to bring to light why I think he would be a terrible, and might I say dreadful, choice for the children and residents of the Riverside School District. It is my opinion that Mr. Weiss is a verbally abusive bully who has a problem with authority and has a problem following the law. For example, in May 2003, he was charged with forgery, a 5th-degree felony, and tampering with evidence, 3rd-degree felony. These charges were reduced to attempted forgery with a sentence of 180 days, 135 were taken off, and from the Mentor Court records, Mr. Weiss was to serve the remaining 45 days in jail. In March 2012, he was charged with domestic violence by his ex-wife, pled to disorderly conduct. His 30 days were suspended by Painesville Court. Again, in July 2012, October 2012 also, Mr. Weiss was charged with domestic violence by his ex-wife, and both times the charges were dismissed. Unbelievable. In February of 2021, Mr. Weiss was charged with assault for attacking a young lady working at the Chardon Dairy Queen. He pled to disorderly conduct. Mr. Weiss was placed on probation for 1 year, was ordered to submit to random drug and alcohol tests, to attend counseling for mental health, and to have no contact with the victim. Mr. Weiss chose to continue his erratic behavior as late as the 2023 election. In a desire to serve my community, I ran for Riverside School Board. During the campaign, Mr. Weiss had unspeakable lies and accusations posted online about me. I also experienced his intimidation tactics to harass me and voters while I was campaigning on election day. His behavior was so bad that I called the police several times. However, police did not faze Mr. Weiss. He continued to harass me after the officer left. I know that people make mistakes in life. Most learn from those bad choices they make. It appears not to be the case for Mr. Weiss. Based on his history of violence towards women and willingness to break the law to benefit his interest, I think it's obvious that Mr. Weiss is trying to tear down a good man like Commissioner Pleshnik to boost his own superficial agenda and self-esteem. And I suggest that Mr. Weiss take a really good look in the mirror, all right, before he starts casting stones.
Thank you. Anyone else for public portion?
Hi, Kathy McAdams, 9730 Yellowwood Drive in Concord, and I have been coming to the meetings for months. I had been coming, well, it's a year and a half roughly, since the sales tax thing. With disaster, actually, not even a thing, a disaster. And I stopped coming because I got tired of one person's attack constantly on one of the commissioners. I couldn't take it. I had other things to go on. Everybody else has things they're unhappy with. Everybody does. Not one person here is totally happy about everything. So I am very grateful for the two people who spoke before me, because I was going to say words to that effect, and I know he's recording me on his phone right now, and I don't really care. If he wants to have words with me, that's fine, but I appreciate what you're doing. I'm really dismayed that we don't know the funding, how the jail is going to be funded. There are rumors, but we don't know. I just paid my $2,600 half-year tax bill. I can't afford $2,000 more if you guys don't work out some funding somewhere. I simply can't. You're going to price me out of the home. The township is going for 3.9 mils. Lord knows Mentor Schools is going to go for 5.9 mils. I can't afford it, guys. I can't. Do something, please.
Thank you. Anyone else for public portion?
Mike Malavasic, 1700 North Shore in Painesville. I moved into the community in 2016, and I heard the problems that they were having with the water and the sewer and all that. And in that 8 years, they've built over 400 new homes within a mile of our house. And I just want to know the thought process behind that and who allowed that to happen, and if they looked at the problems that they added on to the problems that they already had. That's all.
Thank you. Anyone else for public portion? Anyone else? Hearing none, we will go on to resolutions. Madam Clerk.
In the Engineers Department, resolution awarding a bid contract to Cargill Incorporated for salt road safety for the Lake County Road Department Salt 2024 for treated rock salt as required by the Lake County Engineer in the amount of $491,040, LCE project number 2024-5.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Regovich?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Commissioner Pleshnik?
Yes.
Resolution awarding a bid contract for untreated bulk rock salt to Morton Salt Incorporated for the Lake County Road Department Salt 2024, as required by the Lake County Engineer in the amount of $1,105,740.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Regovich?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik?
Yes.
In the Utilities Department, resolution awarding a bid contract, including base bid and alternate, in the amount of $521,675 to Trimore Corporation for the Lake County Solid Waste Facility Contract 1 Entrance Drive Reconstruction Project 472L 2023.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Regovich?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik?
Yes.
Resolution certifying unpaid water and sewer sums and administrative charges to the Lake County Auditor.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Regovich?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik?
Yes.
In the Commissioner's Office, resolution authorizing the President of the Lake County Board of Commissioners to execute an agreement between the Lake County Board of Commissioners and the City of Willowick for funds received from the U.S. Department of Treasury under the Coronavirus State and Local Fiscal Recovery Funds known as the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021.
Move to approve.
Second.
I see that Mayor Mike Vanny of Willowick, as well as Todd Shannon, are here with us today, so I'd like to invite them forward to talk about this important partnership with our neighbors in Willowick.
Leave Van away here today.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for having us today. And again, I always like coming here because it's been a great partnership, to say the least. This is, I think, the third time we've been here for the last year and a half. And on behalf of my residents, I can't thank you enough for the support you've given us for another important infrastructure project in our city. This one's going to be on East 305. We're doing some storm and sanitary work this year, and then next year we're having the street repaved. So it works fine in the timeline, but again, just the partnership and support you've given our city has been unbelievable. And can't thank you enough. I know I speak for Todd Shannon, our great service director. Just been great to work with you guys, and looking forward to continue working in the future. So thank you for everything again. And I also want to thank Jason Boyd, who did a lot of work on this for us. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor. I think it goes without saying that our partnership is strengthened with Willowick, given that a former mayor and councilman sits here, but you've done amazing work in bringing the city forward, and it's so appropriate we're getting this important project done now in the 100th anniversary of Willowick's founding.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you noticing that. Yes. No, but thank you guys. Seriously, thank you for everything you've done, and see you guys soon. Continue working with you guys. So thank you.
Mr. Commissioner.
So, knowing a little bit about the Willowick sewer system, we too flooded in 2006, 2013, and we have areas that continue to flood. And it's different than Painesville in that our sewer system goes back to some of it's 1928. So it's a different situation there, but still the need is important. And I think what we did years ago is have a sewer study done that showed us where the greatest need is, and we've been attacking it since. So I want to applaud that this money's available, because the last project you did came in way under budget, and good for you guys looking to be innovative and get things done in a way in a time that we're always looking to cut corners, not cut corners, but find the best way a solution to the job at a cost-effective method without having to dig so much. And I know that was right in front of Todd Shannon's house, where we had many sinkholes going on. So congratulations, and I'm hoping that this makes a big impact on some of the issues you've had over the years. So.
No, thank you for the kind words, all three of you. I tell you, this is a big project, because this is an area. Well, first of all, the second project, which came under budget, was great, and that was a joint project with the city of Wickliffe, which again showing our partnership between not only cities, our neighboring cities, but the county. Again, great partnership there. And this project is very important, because this is one of our, and Commissioner Rickman knows, this should help out alleviate some of that flooding. We're getting one of our big areas where we get it. So over on Willowick Drive and 305. So we're really excited to get this done. We're excited to get it paved next year. That'll give us two of our main entry streets into the city paved in the last 3 years. So we're excited. Again, thank you again for having us, and thank you for your continued support. So.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, now I think it's time to make it official. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik?
Yes.
All right. Resolution authorizing the President of the Lake County Board of Commissioners to execute an agreement between the Lake County Board of Commissioners and the City of Willoughby in partnership with Willoughby Union Realty, LLC, for funds received from the U.S. Department of Treasury under the Coronavirus State and Local Fiscal Recovery Funds, known as the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021.
Move to approve.
Second.
I believe we have Mayor Fiala and Justin Gantz from Soul Harris Day Architecture present, so I would invite them to the podium. This is why I watch Jeopardy instead of Wheel of Fortune.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for having us today. The project we're asking you to consider by this resolution is funding for a project actually that's been 8 years in the making. It was started by my predecessor, Mayor Anderson. It is a capstone project to our part of our historic downtown's preservation of historic assets. This is the former Union High School, built in the early 20th century. It has sat dormant for all 8 years. It's in serious disrepair. We could lose it. Dave Anderson before me and myself and my administration and our council believe this asset is extremely important to save and preserve. And after years of searching, we finally found a developer that was going to provide the density that we required in the project and the renovation, the restoration of the project that we thought this site deserved. They are in receipt of a historic, I'll let Justin Gantz speak a little bit further of the project, but part of this funding is going to go directly to requirements of the State Preservation Society. So I'd like to introduce Justin Gantz, who can kind of walk through how the funding will be used.
Thank you.
Hi, good morning, Justin Gantz with Soul Harris Day Architecture. As Mayor was alluding to, we have received historic tax credits from the state of Ohio and the federal government as well. Part of the receipt of those tax credits includes our restoration of the project in accordance with the state and federal standards of preservation. So the bulk of this funding we receive from the county will be going towards the restoration of the historic windows in the building. So currently there's aluminum windows that were put in the 70s. They tore out the historic ones in nature, and now we're going in and replacing them with historically accurate, energy efficient windows, among many other things with the exterior preservation of the building. But this is definitely one of the most public and visible elements of the building. So that's what this funding will be going towards, helping us meet the standards and the requirements, which is costly. So again, we appreciate the county's commitment to the project and aid in us meeting those requirements set forth by the state and the federal government.
Thank you. For my part, I would just say that Willoughby is well served to have an architect as mayor in overseeing this project. I know this is something that you care about deeply, and being able to complete the downtown that Mayor Anderson really started is an unbelievable achievement. So I am going to be very excited to see the finished product and your work in action. To be able to help in the smallest way is a great honor for Lake County, and we know that this will be a jewel in the downtown of Willoughby.
Great. Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
I think it's time to make it official. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Regovich?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik?
Yes.
In the Finance Department, resolution approving payment of bills as listed on the Commissioner's Approval Journal in the amount of $3,015,436.96. I think I said that wrong.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Regovich?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik?
Yes.
Resolution approving purchase orders as listed on the Commissioner's Purchase Order Approval Journal in the amount of $1,139,905.80.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Regovich?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik?
Yes.
Resolution increasing appropriations for various non-general fund accounts.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Regovich?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik?
Yes.
Resolution transferring cash and appropriations within various general and non-general fund accounts.
Did we do that one already?
No, we're on number 10.
Oh, move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Regovich?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik?
Yes.
Resolution adopting the annual tax budget for the year ending December 31st, 2025.
Move to approve.
Second.
I would just say we've already had a public hearing where we fully discussed the tax budget. It's an expression of need. It's not the formal budget for Lake County, but we have to submit it in order to collect our share of the taxes for the year. Every local government does the same. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Regovich?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik?
Yes. With the conclusion of resolutions, it's time for departmental reports, starting with utilities.
No report today, Commissioners.
I would just ask if County Administrator Boyd and those from the Department of Utilities could take a moment to address the concerns raised from Painesville Township with respect to the flooding issue.
Yeah, I'll start. Yeah, I appreciate the comments from the resident. I have been in conversations with Mr. Roethlisberger as of late, as of yesterday. Had a meeting Friday, Wednesday, I can't remember, last week with Mr. Armand, Randy, and some of the key other utility employees on putting a plan of attack together based on the consulting analysis that just came in. Randy, when we chatted yesterday, that'll be the first priority when he gets back in the office, to start looking at recommendations in the near term to the board for improvements in that particular area. I don't want to speak to the ins and outs of the engineering, I'm not that, but I do know that it is on the top of Randy's list as sanitary engineer, and Dennis and Matt, if I've misspoke, but I think that's where we're at as of yesterday evening with the county sanitary engineer. And I'll keep you guys in the loop. Commissioners will keep you in the loop, obviously. When issues come up in this area, as we know with Randy and his team, he takes those serious, and we'll put that plan of action together for you guys. Matt or Dennis?
I think you summarized it.
Yeah, I guess just as a follow-up, yeah, it's something we have been, we're working on. As Jason mentioned, we had a consultant looking at things we can do to improve. I know we've been investigating out there. We had found manholes that are in areas that flood and had tightened those up to remove water entering those. But again, it is.
I would just say, I know that there are probably follow-up questions, so if you would please stay to
Yes.
talk with any members of the public who want to express particularized concern or get direct feedback. We'll be going to executive session at the end of the meeting, so if you could stay in the hall to make sure you can address any further questions.
Certainly.
Okay, then on to Job and Family Services.
No reports today.
County Administrator Jason Boyd.
Yeah, Commissioners, on that same topic, I know the gentleman that we met a while back, it was a pleasure seeing you on why so many houses. That's a local zoning issue. The county doesn't have any say on township zoning. And if memory serves me, I'd have to check with our planning director or the township administrator. I believe it was rezoned, that whole triangle that used to be owned by First Energy, Cleveland Illuminating Company back in the day, Bacon Road and Lake Road. I think it was manufacturing to residential. So basically what our planning commission does is we review the housing count in accordance with the local community zoning code. So the half-acre lots, quarter-acre lots, etc. So we don't have a say on how many houses could go. Now, we do look at various other rules, federal, state, whatever they may be, but local zoning is exactly that. It's a local specification that we don't touch. So I don't know if that answers your question or not.
It does, but I just want to say to everybody, I didn't know that Jason was involved in this, but he's a good man, and what he says, he'll get it done.
Thank you.
I can attest to that, because he's a good dude.
Thank you.
I think it really helps, we talked about the benefit of having an architect as mayor. It really helps to have a planner as the county administrator. He has real formal training. He's not a political hire. He's been here before any of these three commissioners. He's worked his way up through the ranks. He has advanced education in planning. I really respect having an expert on the staff, and we take what Jason says very seriously. So it's great to hear that he has the public's trust too. So anything further in your report?
No, I'm done. No, just my weekly update on the Lake County Public Safety Center. We continue to hit our marks. We have abatement firms across from the current jail to start the demolition process of what I'm calling the front three, which is the old Ohio State University Extension Building, 125 East Erie, and the Burger King. That abatement and demolition process will be completed in the next 60 days. So that's a huge benchmark for us to kind of clear that site. Secondly, partnering with the Lake County Land Bank and Mr. Rogers, we, as everyone knows, we've acquired about 3 other parcels on a fee simple basis, and Mr. Rogers and the Land Bank Board have agreed to try and roll those 4 extra homes, structures I should say, into this current demolition cycle. The county will pay full freight for those. The front 3 that I formally referenced is a 50-50 cost share with prearranged agreements at this board last year. So we'll start, this will be the first key movement that the general public will see in what has been a very long process. As far as the jail planning process, architectural engineering, etc., we have completed what is known as the design development phase. As you guys know, I'm a fairly simple-minded guy, so I would argue we're in the 6th inning of the baseball game right now, with about 3 innings to go in the design. We will be in front of Painesville City Planning Commission this Thursday for said demolitions, a review of the design of the structure, a temporary parking lot where the former Chicago Title building was located, etc. The subsequent Thursday, a week from this Thursday, we'll be in front of the Board of Zoning Appeals for a height variance and a front setback variance and a fence variance for secure parking for the proposed jail. Next Thursday at this meeting, I will be providing the general public, assuming our AV situation is worked out, a fairly detailed presentation of where we are at with the jail, where we came from, and the next steps. And we'll also discuss financing, which is a Cliff Note version, is a combination of cash, short-term notes, and bonds. So I'll have about a 65 slide deck presentation next week that I'm going to have. Then we'll post that on the web. It's a very good educational tool. It talks about the consultants that we've used, when we brought them on, and where we're heading down the road. I think, Sheriff, if I missed anything, sir?
No, sir.
All right, that concludes my report.
Thank you. I think that really underlines your earlier point that all zoning decisions are made by the local municipality. Even the county, when we want to do something, has to get approval from the Planning Commission, from Painesville. And that actually all dates back to the 1920s with the Standard State Zoning Enabling Act, where all states, literally all 50 states, took the suggestion from a blue ribbon committee from the Department of Commerce, I think it was in the Hoover administration, where they said, we encourage you to give all zoning decisions to localities. And every state adopted the proposal from the U.S. Department of Commerce and passed a very similar Zoning Enabling Act, which gave that authority. And since Ohio is a home rule state, it's even stronger here than in some other places where it's just statutory. So really, the Planning Commission in your city or your township has the final say on these local zoning decisions. It's an incredibly powerful position. I once served as alternate on my Planning Commission. I never made it to full member, but I was an alternate for a couple of years, and I got to see firsthand all the decisions that were being made, and it literally was, yes, you can build it, no, you can't. Yes, you can split that lot, you can have this business here, no, you can't. It was the final say up until you went to the Board of Zoning Appeals and then ultimately the courts. So it's a very powerful position, and if you have never served on your Planning Commission or you've never been to a meeting, I want to encourage you to go. You will be astounded by the important issues that happen at the Planning and Zoning Commission. There are public meetings, and you have a right to be there.
Fun fact, the first zoning challenge at the Supreme Court was Euclid versus Ambler Realty right here in Northeast Ohio.
That is true, and Euclid was upheld. They were given the right to exclude commercial businesses. They did not want all the businesses and factories coming in from Cleveland and polluting. Euclid wanted to be a bedroom community, so they zoned most of their free space as residential. And Ambler Realty Co., I believe, was the company that sued Euclid and Euclid won. And ever since, that case has been cited, and we refer to most local zoning today as Euclidean zoning.
Right.
Fun
Impressed.
fact.
I'm impressed.
Geometrically precise.
Not so much. I wouldn't say geometrically precise, but it's called Euclidean.
Commissioner, I do have one last report. Joel and Mr. Underwood have started the first draft of the 2025 budget. I can't believe we're saying that. But we're getting a jump on what that looks like next year as it relates to the jail project. It is our largest capital infrastructure project in the history of Lake County. From a general fund perspective, that does not include sewer plant, State Route 2, et cetera. So Joel and Zach are pencil on paper as we speak on providing the first draft of what 2025 looks like.
And to that point, Jason gave a brief report on the jail. He mentioned that the budget is upcoming. I believe at our next commissioners meeting, Jason is planning to present a full outline of where we're at in the jail process budgetarily, architecturally, so we're going to have a comprehensive report on the jail with an accompanying slide deck that we're going to make available to the public so that we can really comprehensively show where we are at in the process and where we hope to go. I would further add that I've asked Jason to work on kind of a state of the county presentation where we can talk more so on the budget. The jail is certainly part of that, but it's important for us to get a sense of where we are budgetarily because we're committed to running a lean budget. We're committed to balancing it. We do not want to, we will not ever raise taxes. And so we have to be very disciplined and we have to look forward in our approach. So we're looking forward to those presentations, the jail presentation at the next meeting, and in the near future, we'll have more updates on the budget. Anything else? Okay, then, Madam Clerk.
Well, our next meeting is also next Tuesday again, July 16th at 10 a.m.
Very good. And legal.
No reports, Commissioner.
Okay, then any old business to come before the commission? Any old business? Hearing none, any new business? Any new business before the commission? Okay, then I would entertain a motion to adjourn into executive session to discuss legal, to discuss imminent litigation. There will be no business conducted after this executive session.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Regovich?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik?
Yes. We stand adjourned.
Update.